All right, everybody, welcome to multiplying positive and negative numbers. Now, you're going to love me because this one is actually really, really easy. And I have a little trick that I can teach you to help you remember this. Okay, it's your job to make sure you write it down and write down any notes that you feel like you may need and reference back later. And so let's dive right into it. So I have here I'm multiplying a positive and a negative number. Some of y'all may have learned some tricks in the past. I have a little bit of an easier one, I feel like. And so what I have is this triangle. This is my multiplication and division triangle. My multiplication and division triangle. So you can use it for both. I add a positive here at the top, negatives at the bottom, because negative people deserve to be at the bottom. Positive people are cool, so they go at the top. And what happens here is you just multiply like regular, which 5 times 3 is 15, but I need to know if it's positive or negative. So how I use this is I usually when I'm in front of you, I can touch it, but in this case, I'll just scratch it out. So I'll scratch out what I have. So I have a positive, so I'm going to scratch that out. I have a negative, so I'm going to scratch that out. And what's left is a negative. So my positive times my negative equals my negative. So it's a negative. So let's try this again. Well, in this case, I need to, if I'm talking about PEMDAS, so I never get confused on what goes next. Parentheses goes first, so I need to make sure I check that. So 9 divided by 3, which is 9 divided by 3. So wait, let me go do this. In this case, I have a negative and a positive. So I'm going to cover that up, and I'm going to cover this up, and then I'll be left with a negative. So I know this answer is going to be negative. Well, 9 divided by 3 is going to look like this when you set it up. And I know it goes into it 3 times because 3 times 3 equals 9. So this will going to be negative 3 because I have a positive and I have a negative. So I cover the positive up, cover the negative up, and I'm left with a negative. Now it's negative 3 times, so I don't have any exponents. I do have a multiplication, and then that should be it, right? So I'm going to multiply this times 10. Well, I have a negative, so I'm going to cover up negative. I have a positive, cover up positive. I'm left with a negative. Okay, 3 times 10, just add a 0 to the end, negative 30. Answer right there. Simple. All right, let me look at what I'm looking at here. Oh my goodness, so I see a multiplication, I see a positive. Don't get scared because we have our PEMDAS that we can use. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So do I have parentheses? Yes, I do, but these parentheses are really just talking about, this is a negative number. So I checked that because I looked for it, but there's none, no exponents. There is a multiplication, that's this multiplication, so I need to make sure I do that first. So there's no negative numbers, they're both positive, so I'm just going to multiply. Positive and a positive is always a positive. Okay, so 5 times 6 plus 0.15. Remember, when multiplying these decimals, I don't need to line them up. I know that there's 1 decimal place here. There's 2 decimal places here. So in the end, I need to move it over 3 decimal places. So let's look at this. So 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3 is 28. Add a 0 here. Now I'm working with the 1. This is going to be 56. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. That was for the last one. So now I'm going to add these. And it's going to be 0. This is going to be 14 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Move it over 1, 2, 3 times. So my answer is my answer for this multiplication is 0.840. Now I'm going to be adding this negative. I'm going to be adding this negative 3.16. So let's see. I did multiplication. There's no division. There is addition. So I'm working on that now. So I'm adding this negative 3.16. Well, first of all, let's look at what's bigger. What's bigger is this negative team. So I know my answer is going to be negative. And what's going to happen is these guys right here, these positive guys are going to kill some of these negative guys before they go. But by how much are we going to be losing? Well, we're going to be losing this amount. So I'm going to take 3.16 and I'm going to subtract. Subtracting decimals, line them up. 8.4. I don't really need this 0 at the end, so I'm just going to take it out. I mean, you could add a 0 down here if you want to do a little bit more work. So 0 minus 0 is 0. So it doesn't really matter. 6 minus 4 is 2. And then I have this. So 8, 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11, that's 3. Bring my decimal down. And then I have 2. So it's going to be negative 2.320. Or I could just say 0.32. All right. Good job. Number 4. Oh, my goodness. What am I looking at here? So first, I'm going to draw my little triangle here to help me with my multiplication and division. All right. So, and I'm also going to put my PEMDAS here so to help me keep track of how to work this order of operations. So let's see. So parentheses. Oh, I do have a parentheses. These two numbers are together and they're being multiplied. So I need to make sure I do that first. What I can do is multiply these, and I have a positive and I have a negative. So positive, cover that up. Negative, cover that up. And I have a negative number. So this is going to be a negative number, whatever happens. I just multiply like normal, and the product is going to be negative. So let's work this out. So I have negative 7, and as a fraction is over 1. And then I could turn this into a mixed number. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so 8/3. And I'm multiplying those. Well, you don't need to find a common denominator because I'm not adding or subtracting. So you just multiply across, multiply across. So 8 times 7 is 8, 60, 12, 32, 40, 48, 56. 56. So 56. And don't make fun of me because I had to learn my times tables. So negative 56 over 3. Now, that's just this part. So I don't have any exponents, but I don't have a multiplication. I do have a division. So I need to make sure I do that. So now I'm going to cross this out right here. I'm going to go because I don't need that anymore. Now I am just working with this negative 56 over 3, which is the product of these two numbers. So I'm going to be dividing a negative. Well, I don't want this to be a mixed number. I want it to be an improper fraction. So 3 times 4 is 4, 8, 12. Plus 2 is 14, so 14/3. So I have two negatives here. So I have a negative here and a negative. So my answer is going to be in positives, okay? So my answer is going to be in positives. So I'm not really dividing here. What I really want to do, and if you go back to our dividing fractions lesson, I'm really multiplying times the reciprocal, okay? Reciprocal, which is a 3/14. Okay, so then I just multiply across. So I have 56. I really don't need these anymore because I know my answer is going to be in positive. 56 times 3 is 6, 12, 18. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16. So that's 168. And then 14 times 3 is going to be 4, 8, 12. And this is going to be 42. I'm going to move myself over here. I'm in the way. So 42. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop right there because I don't want to waste too much time dividing when you should be able to divide this. You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Turn it into a mixed number. So I have 168 over here. All right. So does 42 go into 1? No. Does 42 go into 16? No, but it does go into 168. We need to figure out how many times. So I have 42 plus 42 is 84. Close. Plus 42. So I know the next one's going to be 84. It's going to be 100, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 126. Okay, getting closer. Plus 42 is 168. Oh my goodness, it goes into it perfectly. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And I didn't want to do it. My answer is 4. So this fraction is really a natural number because when I simplify it, it simplifies to 4. All right, so number 5. All right, so we are going to attempt to work all this out because it says which of the following solution expressions has a solution of -2. So we're going to work out all these expressions and figure out Roman numeral 1, 2, or 3, or all, or a couple of them have a solution of -2. So let's start with the first one. I'm going to do a little dash in here. I'm going to little squigglies. So we have -2 and 2/5 times 3 divided by 3 and 3/5. Okay. All right. So PEMDAS. All right. That way I don't get confused. Oh, also, I see some multiplications of negative numbers. So I'm going to do this too. So I have add, subtract, subtract. That's for multiplication and division. So this first one, I am multiplying these two numbers. And I have a positive, bam, have a negative, bam. So the answer is going to be in negative. So what I really can do is I need to turn this into a mixed number. I mean an improper fraction. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. We get 12/5. And I'm going to multiply that times 3 over 1 because 3 is just 3 over 1 as a fraction. Because 3 divided by 1 is 3. So now I need to move this. I need to, no. I don't need to find a common denominator. Look, even Mr. Rodriguez makes these same types of mistakes. All right, okay. So I just multiply across. So it's going to be 12 times 3 is 36. So I know it's going to be negative because I have a positive and a negative number. Positive, negative equals a negative. And then fifths. Okay, now I'm dividing this 3 and 3/5. Okay, so what I need to do is first I need to create some more space for myself. Okay, so I need to change this into a improper fraction. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18, so 18/5. Hey, we're in fifths. We're still dividing this, -36/5. But I don't want to divide this. What I really want to do is I want to multiply times the reciprocal flip, and then I can go about and find my solution. So I have a negative fraction and I have a positive fraction. So cover up the negative, cover up the positive. I have a negative left over. So it's going to be in negatives. So then I'm going to do 36 times 5. So let's see. 36 times 5 is going to be 30, 15, 16, 17, 18, 180. And these are in negatives. And then I also have 15 times 5, 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7 over 75. Okay, and they want to know if this is negative 2. So basically, if 75 goes into 180 twice, then this would be negative 2. So let's see. 75 times 2. Let's see if what this is. So this is going to be 5, 10. 7, 14, 15. No, we're a little bit short. Okay, so this isn't going to be negative 2. So we know Roman numeral 1. Roman numeral 1 is out. So let's work on Roman numeral 2. So this is Roman numeral 1. Now we're going to work on Roman numeral 2. So this is going to be 28 plus negative 2.4. And we're going to divide that by 0.08. Let me get out of the way here. So I need to write down my PEMDAS because I don't want to get confused or lost on my order of operations. I'm also going to, since I see I'm dividing here a negative and a positive, I'm going to write this down. So I have a negative and a I need to do my parentheses first. So I divide these two. So I can still divide it the same way. 0.08. I need to move that over twice. Move this over twice. Bring it up. Right here. So this turns into an 8. And this turns into 240. So we're going to figure out, we know I have a negative and a positive here. So I cover up positive, cover up negative. What's left over is going to be negative. So this is going to be a negative number. I know that. I just don't know what number it is right now. So does 8 go into 2? Negative. Negative as in no, it does not. Does 8 go into 24? 8, 16, 24? It does go into 24. 3 times. Okay. And so there's going to be 0 left over, so I could just finish this out with another 0. So it's going to be a negative 30. So let's write this over. So really we're looking at 28 plus negative 30. So we have negative team, positive team. Who comes out on top? Negative by how much? 2. So Roman numeral 2. Yes, you do go to negative 2. Now we're going to work on a Roman numeral 3. So first of all, let me create some space. And let me move my big head out of the way so I can see what the actual Roman numeral 3 is. So this says, Roman numeral 3 says 2 1/4. And then I have my brackets, which is the same thing as groups. 7/3 plus negative. Sorry, I got to plug my computer in real quick. Okay. I'm working with a negative 1 4/9. And that's going to be in brackets also. So first, I write down my PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, and I'm also, since I'm, this is going to be a multiplication symbol in here, since we don't see anything. Since I'm multiplying, I'm going to also write this down to help me remember my rules. So first thing I need to do is I need to do my parentheses, or in this case, brackets, which GEMS says groups. If you've never heard of GEMS, it's another acronym to help you with order operations. So I'm going to turn this into a mixed number. See you around Texas. So 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13. 13 ninths, and those are negatives. And this is 7/3. So I'm not even going to mess with this right now. I'm just going to focus on this. Well, I know when adding or subtracting fractions, I need to find a, yes, you said it, common denominator. I know 3 goes into 9 when I do it times 3. So I need to rewrite this. See, I did it to the bottom, the denominator, and I also did it to the numerator. Make sure you do that. So the bottom's going to be 9 now. And the top's going to be 7, 14, 21. So I know my denominator, when adding and subtracting fractions, the denominator is going to be the same. I just focus on my numerators now. So now I have 21 and 13. So I have 21 positives, 13 negatives. The positives are going to win. By how much? Well, 21 minus 13 is 8. So it's going to be 8 ninths. So let me create a little bit more room for myself because I am not done. I just did my brackets. So now I know I have 2 and 1/4, which I'm actually going to change it to an improper fraction. So it's going to be 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So 9/4. And I'm going to multiply that times 8 ninths, which is going to be positive. So I have a positive number here. So I'm going to keep that positive number over here. So positive plus a positive. I mean, I don't even have to write this down here because you know a positive and a positive. 4 times 5 is 20. You know it's going to be positive already. So I'm going to do 9 times 8, which is 72. And 4 times 9, which is 9, 18, 27, 36. I actually think that goes into it twice, but this is actually positive, and it's not negative. So the only answer that it would be is Roman numeral 2. Okay. So when I work these out, the only one that equaled out to negative, the solution was -2, was Roman numeral 2. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions on any of this. Go back to the, you can scroll back and forth to all of the other ones that I went over, and you can watch it as many times as you want. I encourage you to do that, and I encourage you to write notes as you're going through. And let me know if you have any questions, and I would love to help you.